Among the great states of the ancient world whose names still echo through history, Sparta holds a unique place. It was one of the most celebrated poleis of ancient Greece, its renown inextricably linked to unparalleled conquests and unyielding military might. For centuries, Sparta embodied discipline, courage, and an indomitable will, and its warriors, trained from childhood in the harsh art of war, were considered invincible, striking fear into anyone who dared to challenge them. It seemed this power, built on a foundation of militarism and strict laws, was forged from steel and destined for eternal greatness and triumph. However, despite all its formidable power and impressive string of victories, a profoundly dramatic and puzzling question inevitably arises for the curious mind: how did this seemingly unbreakable and eternal empire, whose legions knew no defeat, ultimately collapse? What hidden reasons, internal strife, or fatal errors led to the demise of such a mighty power, leaving behind only legends of its former glory? It would be inaccurate to perceive ancient Greece as a single political entity. Practically every city constituted a sovereign nation, or poleis, possessing its own distinct laws, unique forms of governance, individual traditions, and a specific path of development. Although political alliances and active trade united them, internal rivalry never ceased, manifesting particularly acutely between the two most influential poleis. The classical Greek period, which we know well today, spans the 5th to 4th centuries BCE. This era is extensively documented thanks to the rich literary legacy of the Athenians, numerous narratives, dramatic works, and other written sources, a characteristic that distinguishes them from other ancient Greek states. The subjugation of most Greek city-states ceased with the emergence of the greatest threat to ancient civilization, which until then had been far beyond the horizon, the mighty Persian Empire. The Persians were renowned masters of warfare and conquest. Mainland Greece came under direct attack from this new invader, and this circumstance became a crucial impetus for many city-states to unite in the face of a common enemy. The Greek world can be viewed as a unified whole following the Ionian Revolt of 500 BCE, which directly provoked the Persian invasion. The Persians suffered defeat in 490 BCE, and their second invasion attempt in 481 BCE also ended in failure. Even when Persian forces managed to advance deep into mainland Greece, they were defeated again. The large-scale battles at Thermopylae and Artemisium fundamentally altered the course of history for the ancient Greeks. Although the Persian army significantly outnumbered their opponents, the military innovations, strategic thinking, and unparalleled courage of the Greeks allowed them to halt the invasion. At Thermopylae, Spartan king Leonidas led a contingent of 300 Spartans, as well as warriors from other poleis. The Greeks fiercely resisted for 3 days against tens of thousands of Persian troops. Spartans were known for their unwavering devotion to the state and military service. As early as age 7, Spartan boys began intensive training and military preparation. They lived in barracks and trained with exceptional dedication even during peacetime. Following this, the Athenian League, also known as the Delian League, was formed under the hegemony of Athens. Athens' successes inevitably led to direct confrontation with Sparta. The Peloponnesian War began in 431 BCE. After a brief truce, hostilities resumed, and in 404 BCE, Sparta achieved a decisive victory over Athens. Consequently, Sparta established itself as the dominant power in the Greek world. The conclusion of the Peloponnesian War effectively made Sparta the undisputed master of Greece. However, as early as 395 BCE, the Spartan rulers removed Lysander, an outstanding general and admiral, from power. This step led to Sparta losing its naval supremacy. Athens, Argos, Thebes, and Corinth, the latter two having previously been Spartan allies, challenged Spartan dominance. This marked the beginning of the Corinthian War, which ended without a decisive outcome in 387 BCE. During the Corinthian War, while Athens and Sparta exhausted each other in conflict, Thebes gradually gained strength, rising to the position of a dominant polis among the other Greek states. In the same year, Sparta concluded the so-called Peace of Antalcidas with Persia. Under the terms of this treaty, after 12 years of war, the Greeks returned the cities of Ionia and Cyprus to Persian rule, an unexpected turn after a century of Greek victories. Subsequently, Sparta attempted to further weaken Thebes' influence and drew them into a war against its former ally, Athens. Before continuing the narrative, it is important to understand more deeply the reasons why Sparta was so successful in military operations. From its very beginning, Sparta was simultaneously ruled by two kings, representing two distinct royal houses, the Agiads and the Eurypontids. After 404 BCE, when Athens was defeated, Sparta gained the ability to form and dissolve alliances at will. However, due to the government's loss of control over their subjects, some Spartans began engaging in raids and unauthorized, sometimes ill-conceived military operations for personal gain. Such actions occasionally occurred in violation of existing treaty obligations. These Spartans saw that their government and officials were willing to turn a blind eye to such excesses. As a result, Sparta's authority steadily declined. Other Greek poleis, both traditional allies and enemies of Sparta, became increasingly dissatisfied with Spartan hegemony. Ultimately, the anti-Spartan League gained new momentum. The Spartans continued to try to maintain their position as leaders of the Greek world, relying on their military might. Their army remained strong, but their tactics required ever greater sacrifices, and Sparta simply could not afford these costly victories. Every battle, even a successful one, meant one less warrior in the future. Meanwhile, opponents learned more and more about Sparta's military tactics. Theban general Pelopidas achieved a significant victory over a numerically superior Spartan army in 375 BCE. Thebes' influence steadily grew, and Athens began to fear Thebes' rising power. In response, Athens began to strengthen its own position and formed the Second Athenian League. Ultimately, the Theban army inflicted a crushing defeat on Sparta at the Battle of Leuctra. Sparta lost a colossal portion of its army in this engagement. The history of Spartan military prestige and dominance over Greece, as well as the entire period of Spartan hegemony, suffered a decisive collapse. The Battle of Leuctra marked the end of an entire era in Greek military history and forever changed the balance of power in Hellas. Until this moment, Sparta's authority and the invincibility of its army had remained unshakable. The mere sight of a legion of Spartan warriors was enough to instill terror and panic in the hearts of their opponents. Upon closer examination of Sparta's history as a military society, the defeat at Leuctra appears quite expected. By the time of the confrontation with the Thebans, Sparta had long been facing serious internal problems. It was only a matter of time until someone capitalized on this situation. Spartan society had long been deluding itself about its own invincibility. Due to its genuine crisis situation, Sparta was unable to field enough warriors for the battle. Though Sparta never fully recovered from its losses, it continued to remain a regional power for 2 centuries. Subsequently, the Spartans even became allies of the Romans, and under Roman rule, Sparta maintained its status as a free city, becoming a popular tourist attraction for the Roman elite.